知らないんだね。
Back when I was getting into Otome games and honing my Japanese knowledge, it was appalling that there's an absolute treasure trove of games that don't feel like they would ever get a Western release. But in a shocking development, publisher Axis suddenly started pumping out so many Otomes for this year and the next, with Paradigm Paradox mixed between those. This collaborative effort of a game between one of Japan's most influential voice acting agencies with Otomate certainly surprised people, myself included, when it was released. In the far future of 25XX, Paradigm Paradox follows Yuki Takanashi, a seemingly ordinary high school girl who leads her monotonous life under the great walls of a colony named Theta. As she mourns her boring life, she suddenly comes in contact with the Blooms, a group of 4 superheroes that were regarded by most as urban legends. Awakening to her latent powers, Yuki then decides to fight alongside them, but in the process learns more about her world and herself. In Paradigm Paradox, there are 8 routes divided into Villainous Justice and Just Justice. Accessing specific Villainous Justice routes requires you to view specific good endings from the Justice routes before proceeding. It might sound weird, but it'll make sense once you've played through every route. Each is relatively short, except 2 in particular, which I won't say due to spoilers. As you'd expect from an Otome game, once you're locked into a love interest, you must get their affection high enough for that. Though, if I'm being honest, the common route leaves much to be desired because the introduction of each character's personality and quirks is superficial at best, and only serves as a means to an end. Or, that is to say, to get to the route of the character that strikes your fancy. By the time the action and introductions kick in, you're probably already locked on the first segment of a particular character's route. Now, let's talk about my favorite part of the review, Paradigm Paradox's translation. And that outcome is good, but the text editing has a lot of mistakes. None of them are outrageous enough to make someone care from an English standpoint, but that doesn't excuse the fact that they're there. Sometimes the text would end awkwardly, and some dialogue boxes would be completely blank, which broke the immersion. Furthermore, the script would add or omit terms that were not a thing in the original Japanese. While I understood why some choices were made, either to reduce repetitiveness or prevent the pitfall of sounding too stilted, some felt a bit awkwardly edited in, if we're being honest. When it comes to the animations and the UI, they're a bit more simplistic this time around. No fancy live 2D, but all the illustrations in each route are very well drawn. And the localization team once again picked a decent font for the dialogue, thank goodness. Navigating the menu can also be done via the touchscreen if you're playing on handheld mode. While this rather minimalistic approach might not even begin to compare with Cupid Paradise's UI, it's nice that it doesn't look like it was sticker bombed at random. I might be digressing a bit, but even the Justice and Villainous routes vary significantly in their presentation. The former felt like a silly Sunday morning cartoon, a la Power Rangers, and the latter felt way more serious and moody in comparison, as the main character starts to become an anti-hero of sorts. And then you have the final 2 routes that take everything you knew, and probably some more, and just throw it all together for one heck of a plot twist. But, of course, saying any further would be entering spoiler territory, so I'll stop there. The verdict is, while Paradigm Paradox fails a bit to stick the landing when it comes to setting up its premise, once you've gotten deep enough into its tale, you'll start to appreciate and create a sense of fondness with each character. Even though the individual routes sometimes had somewhat unfavorable endings, in my opinion, not to mention the countless editing mishaps, I enjoyed and even laughed at the interactions between the love interests. All the different points of view were all amusingly worded. Noisy Pixel is giving Paradigm Paradox a 7.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to check out the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is written by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.